Hi there, this is David with some exciting news! There's a new Suikoden game out there, one that has now been translated into English, one that we never got back when, for the PSP, it is Suikoden Woven Web of the Centuries. And here it is in all of its English translated glory. It is a great game. I am a huge fan of Suikoden. I have been ever since the very first game was released. I remember I picked this up at the GameStop in Kennesaw, Georgia, at the mall. It was actually in a bargain clearance bin outside the store, and I think I got it for like $4.99. It didn't come with a case or anything like that, but I definitely picked this up. I was always a fan of turn-based JRPGs. I've been a fan of JRPGs ever since I was a little kid playing Dragon Warrior on the NES. And back in the day, JRPGs were very not well known. They were not well known. They really didn't come into the forefront until Final Fantasy VII. So you can really pick up some JRPGs on the cheap back then. But then after Final Fantasy VII came out, JRPGs became much more expensive and much more well-known, so I had a very difficult time picking up Suikoden 2. I remember whenever it came out and I wanted it, but I was trying to wait till it came down in price, but it never did. It had a very small print run, and it was very difficult to find. So what I had to do, back when the internet was still kind of in its infancy, and I had, you couldn't just like go online to GameStop and look and see if the store had a game in stock. You had to basically Google the stores and then find their telephone numbers and then call them up. So I called up probably every single store in like a 50-60 mile radius of my house till I finally found one in South Georgia, and I drove roughly 60 miles to pick this game up. And I told, put it on hold, I'll be there. And I think it was like $70 that I paid for this game. So worth every penny, one of the best games in the entire series. Suikoden 3! Got this one for the PS2. This was an early release for the PS2, and as such, it does kind of have some early JRPG problems for the PS2, where just because they could make a game that was long doesn't mean that they should, and they made this game very long. It shows the same events, but from 3 different perspectives. It has like 3 different heroes happening. And to me, I personally found that rather boring because I didn't want to see the same thing over and over and over again. But, some people like it. Also, the combat system was changed insofar as, yeah, you can still have 6 characters, but you had to kind of like pair characters up together, so you really only had like 3 characters. It was just kind of odd. Suikoden 4! Combat system, also odd. You can only have 4 characters in your party, and a lot of people don't like Suikoden 4. I did. I thought it was pretty decent. It kind of takes on like a sailing, kind of a pirate theme. It's also one of the shorter games in the series, lasting only roughly 20 or so hours. But my time with it, I had a fun time. You get Vicky pretty early, so you can teleport, so there's not a whole lot of backtracking. I thought that this was a pretty decent game. However, it was not as good as Suikoden 5, probably my favorite game in the entire series. I loved this one. Put well over 100 hours into Suikoden 5. It's back to 6-person combat. You have convoys. It's just a really good game. Oh, and I'm looking at the back. Only $20 for Suikoden 5. What a bargain back when. Man, that was great. A portable Suikoden in Suikoden Tierkreis. This one has voice acting. It's halfway decent. It's a decent DS game. I don't think it's that great of a Suikoden game. It is what it is. I enjoyed it, but I'm not going to say it's the best thing ever. And then we have a spin-off game, Suikoden Tactics. This one is different. It's a tactical JRPG. It's not a traditional JRPG, and it is a prequel as well as a sequel to the events of Suikoden 4. It's interesting. It actually came with the game as well as a soundtrack, a limited edition soundtrack right there as well. I enjoyed my time with Suikoden Tactics, but I was always hoping, wishing, praying for a new Suikoden game, and now my wishes have been answered. So, on the PSP back in 2012, Suikoden Woven Web of the Centuries was released, but only in Japan. I remember thinking, oh, this is definitely going to get translated. There were so many JRPGs on the PSP. A lot of people think of that as just like a port machine. It wasn't. The PSP was a great RPG machine. Great portable for any kind of RPG lover. And it's really such a shame that this game in particular did not come out. How we got stuff like Dragoneer's Aria and not this is beyond me. But anyway, it is now fully translated. This is not the Google translation. This is a good translation by a true translation group. This is not Englishy. This is fantastic. The game, it's kind of... Well, okay, let's just start at the beginning. It has 6-person combat. Everything is fully voiced. There are still unite attacks, and you can actually bond with your characters and increase their friendships, and as your characters bond more and more, you can unlock more and more unite attacks with them as well. Everything's fully voice acted in Japanese. If there's like a cutscene or something or a CGI, it's actually translated into English on the screen as well. As you can see, the towns take place in like a menu type system. You can't just go explore the towns. You kind of explore it like a menu. The same thing with the world map. A scroll will kind of open up, and then you can go from place to place with like a point and a click world map. But then whenever you're actually inside of an area, a field, or a dungeon, it's fully 3D and you can explore. There's a mini map. It's very, very, very well done. There also seems to be a class system, which changes based upon what weapon you equipped. And so you can have your characters become different classes. There's a convoy system, so you have your 6 party members plus your 2 convoy characters. It all looks to be very, very well done. Everything looks to be just perfect Suikoden. The music is great. The graphics are great. I am so looking forward to playing this game today. I mean, what better way to spend a lazy Sunday afternoon than going back and spending some time hanging out with an old friend here in Suikoden. I hope you guys enjoy this, and look for a link to download the translation patch in the video description if you're wondering how to do it. And have a good day.